I was doing like whole group problem sets because they were not getting it. And now I feel like they're getting it a little bit more again. They're becoming more familiar. So I'm able to I'll pull my sped group back and then I'll send them back and I'll do like, okay, I noticed you didn't have any work done, so come meet me back here. I'll do a walkthrough and grab the kids and pull them back here. So math, I feel like I'm okay. But my language arts small groups, first of all, like the time, how do you get the time to do everything in a day? Like, oh my goodness. Because my kids are, okay, so we're supposed to be, I think a lot of teachers are doing it when our kids go to reading group. But that's where I've been, and I know that we still need to get close reading in with our kids that go to reading group as well. But if I can, I'll do like a close read in there. I'll do something because my back table is occupied by my reading group teacher who comes in with my students who are not high enough to be in reading group. So I have a couple students who don't know their ABCs yet, their letter sounds and names. And so she comes back here and works with them. So then I already have a small group going back here with another person. And then I'm trying to get a close read in during my day. And I'm trying, I feel like, how do I get all of it done in a day? Because I was trying to do close reads in that time where I told you I did that 30 minutes of math before they go. But the other teachers are doing math at that time. So I don't know when they're doing their close reads, but so that's where I'm like, okay, if I'm supposed to be doing small groups when my kids are at reading group, then first of all, okay, I can assign like that Khan Academy that you showed me for a small group for them out there while we're doing stuff here. But when do I find time for all of that? What am I supposed to be doing when my kids are at reading group, I guess, is my question.
So when your students are at reading group, I would pull a group of students that are not getting phonics lesson library during walk to learn. So we're talking about kids that...
But all my kids go to reading group.
So all the kids that are not in phonics lesson library go to reading group.
They're like all my sped kids and my ELs.
Okay.
So that's where... Because I was thinking the same thing.
That makes sense. So what I would say then is, I was actually just talking to Mrs. Grant about that because I'm like, this seems to be a challenge. Like this is a barrier. We're not getting all of our kids. They're tier 2. So when you look at your 95% and you get rid of the things that we're allowed to get rid of.
Yes.
Is it a shorter amount of time than an hour?
Yeah. Realistically, even with those things, I was getting done at like 8:30. And we have until 8:45.
So how quickly, getting rid of those things, do you feel like you can finish?
I feel like either way, I'm ending around 8:30. Whether I'm sticking them out, I'm kicking those things out or keeping them in.
Okay.
I feel like it's not cutting out a lot of time. So.
Okay. So if we could try to look at the pacing and see if you can really stay on that. Like this says 2 minutes, I'm going to do it for 2 minutes.
Yes.
This says 5 minutes, I'm going to do it for 5 minutes. See if you can get it down to where you're doing it in 40 minutes of time and you've got a 20-minute chunk. Okay.
Which theoretically from
you're pretty close to
7:45 to 8:30, it's almost there. Okay.
So then what you could do, so you're not having to prep anything and it's not necessarily tier 1 instruction they're missing, you could give students the passage that you're not necessarily reading anymore for comprehension, have them read it and give them questions about it, or have them do the activities where they highlight the spelling patterns, whatever those things are. That would still be part of 95%, but not what you're using your tier 1 instruction for. And take that 20-minute block and pull a small group during that chunk of time.
Okay.
So that might, the glitch there is that all of your ELs are not necessarily going to be at the same level. So you're going to have to look at those kids and you're going to have to say, okay, which area could they all be in? And then what little things can I tweak during the lesson to try to meet their need? Do you know what I'm saying? So if they all are doing blending, like let's say they're super low, they're doing blending and, one is also struggling with short vowel sounds, you're asking that student in particular to what's the short vowel sound here? So you're really honing in on the one thing that kid needs. But that's one place where you can do it. So then you wouldn't be doing small group during your SIPS time because you're pulling a small group here.
Before.
So what do you do during your SIPS time?
Right. Because, then when do we fit in close reading? too.
Right. Okay, so I don't know what your schedule looks like exactly, but there should be another chunk of time for language arts.
Yeah, let me lay out what our schedule is.
Okay.
Because I have to